Advertising and marketing practices may be deemed legal, but are they ethical? Morals are beliefs or principles that individuals hold about what is right and wrong. Ethics are moral principles that serve as guidelines for individuals and organizations. Marketing and advertising practices are affected by ethical and moral concerns. This slide summarizes some of the criticisms against marketing and advertising. While each may be a valid point, marketers tend to argue that people have the freedom of choice, and marketers are not forcing anyone to make a purchase. Some critics say advertising causes people to purchase more than they can afford, and as a result, end up deep in debt. They also argue that advertising puts too much emphasis on material goods and that it creates a feeling that material possessions can bring happiness. Marketers' response is yes, marketing does stress buying goods and services. That is what it's all about. But consumers still have freedom of choice. No one is being forced into making a purchase. A related argument against marketing is that it increases the cost of products. Yes, it does. Marketers will admit to that fact. But through advertising, people become aware of goods and services and what they can provide. Without advertising, consumers may not have access to this information. Advertising widens the base of potential customers and increases the probability of repeat purchases. This additional sales leads to economies of sales and production, which allows the price of the product to be lowered. So in a way, marketing and advertising assists in lowering the price of products, not increasing the cost. Critics have argued that advertising perpetuates the stereotyping of men, women, and minorities. The question that has to be asked is, does segmenting a market based on gender, age, ethnicity, and other demographic variables create stereotyping? In this era of political correctness, it is a difficult issue. The prime reason for segmentation is to reach a smaller demographic audience that possesses similar traits, interests, opinions, and lifestyles. Is this practice unethical? Is it bad business, or is it reality? Another criticism of advertising is that it promotes the use of potentially harmful products, such as alcohol and tobacco. Experts estimate by the time individuals are 18 years of age, they have seen 100,000 beer commercials. Many of these ads use sexuality and social acceptance to make tobacco and alcohol attractive products. This was one reason legislation was passed to ban tobacco advertising. But to bypass this regulation, tobacco companies turn to sponsorships, where the tobacco company's name is mentioned frequently. Many do not like the advertising of feminine hygiene products, sexually related products, and other personal products. In the international arena, advertising of these products is often prohibited and carefully regulated. Some of these ads use nudity and sexual themes. Some are embarrassing, others promote sex. Marketers argue that companies have a right to advertise just like anyone else, based on freedom of speech. Advertising to children is one of the hottest topics when it comes to ethics. Children represent a huge market in terms of personal buying power, but also in family purchases they influence. Critics not only find fault with advertising to children, but the tactics being used, since children do not have the ability to reason like adults. According to Mary Piper, no one ad is bad, but 400 a day are. An important reason companies pursue children is that if they can get their brand name in children's minds, it may be possible to build brand loyalty that will last a lifetime. Ethical dilemmas are present in places other than advertising. This slide mentions a few other concerns people have with marketing. Brand infringement involves using a brand name that is already being used, or a brand name that is very close to another brand name with the intent of capturing sales from its popularity. Another problem comes when a brand name becomes generic, such as Xerox and Band-Aids. With the internet has come domain squatting, which involves purchasing URLs related to companies or famous people with the intent of selling them to the person or company for a huge price. Another issue revolves around the marketing of professional services. In the past, it was considered taboo and unethical. Now, both medical and legal professionals advertise on a regular basis. The rationale for advertising is freedom of speech, and competition has forced them to advertise to compete effectively. Others argue it is unethical because they are taking advantage of people's problems. Advertising by pharmaceutical companies has raised debates about whether it has increased the use of drugs, legal drugs, in America and driven doctors to prescribe medicines when it was not really in the best interest of the patient.